Hello and welcome to episode 424 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler. And join me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Let me tell you, man, quite a bit. Most recently celebrated a birthday this
Today,
past week.
33?
So, yep, 33. Big 33. Definitely was a great day. Actually went into work, came into a surprise. There was a bag on my table, on my workstation, and nobody at work knew that it was my birthday up until after this happened. There were a bag of PS4 games, right? My boss was getting rid of a bunch of like his PS4 games, and quintessentially was he told me it's like, hey, you can have what you want, but yeah, for the other ones and stuff, if you want to go through and like price them and stuff at the store, that's fine. And so I look inside there, and oh my gosh, I got about one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I had about like 8 PS4 games that I initially decided to take home for me.
Very
One
cool.
of which, like a couple of which, I mean, I got another extra copy now, Persona 5, which now I have like three different copies
Oh, because
of
you have
Persona
Royal and
5.
then.
Because that's the thing. I got Persona 5 Royal, but when I initially bought Persona 5, the original like thing, I got the Steel Book because
Oh.
that was something. So this one is like the regular stock version of it, so it's the most common one. But it's funny. I just got like three copies now of Persona 5, but I got a physical copy now of Monster Hunter World. I got the original Dragon Quest Builders, which I'm
Sweet.
interested in going and trying things out right there. I now actually have a copy of Kingdom Hearts 3,
I'm sorry, my condolences.
but I got a couple of other like JRPG stuff, like a World of Final Fantasy and like a Star Ocean game, which I've heard they're incredibly like niche in that regards.
That's Square Enix, right?
Yes, Square Enix
Okay.
stuff. But I got now a copy of Detroit Beyond Human. So I got the copy. Yeah, I actually got like an actual copy of the game by Quantic Dream, I think it was.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human, yeah.
Right. And I'm just looking back here, and yeah, I know this is going to be kind of funny, but I actually have a copy now of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, fuck. Burn it. Burn it.
The only reason why I took that one really is because one, I'm curious. Two, I didn't have to pay for it, and three, the other games I had already had. You know, it's like Red Dead Redemption 2, like Watch Dogs, Final Fantasy 15. I already had those games, so it's like I pretty much made out like a bandit. And afterwards, I look at it, I look at everyone, I was like, man, it's like, man, even today's my birthday too. This is crazy. And so it's like good thing after good thing after good thing happened on my birthday and stuff. But man, there has been plenty of things that have been happening too. For example, I know I'm going to be getting my first COVID shot. My mom and I are going to be getting our first COVID shots tomorrow at my old high school, actually, which is kind of hilarious since I haven't been back there since I graduated,
Gable's old
which
stomping
was,
grounds.
oh my God, yeah, my old stomping grounds, right?
Got a lot of puss in that gym.
Yeah. No,
In
that's wishful thinking, but no.
my
but
mind, you did.
but the funniest part about it is I have not been on that campus since like 2006. So man, it is gonna feel fucking weird stepping on back on my old high school grounds. But no, man, there's a couple other gaming stuff that did go through into, you know, how the whole PlayStation 3, the PlayStation Vita stuff, you know, the whole store's closing down.
Yeah.
This past week, I decided I wanted to go and see, you know, maybe I could pick a couple of things up, do this and do that. Now I started thinking about it. I got one PS3 game, and that was one that I got rid of a long time ago. Paid $15 for it. It was Persona 4 Arena.
That's the
Definitely
fighting
a good
one?
fighting game.
Yeah,
I
okay.
remember going through each chapter of that game. It's currently sitting about 50% downloaded on my PS3, but a lot of the other stuff I got was for the Vita. So I picked up the PSP game Agenda Arc. It's actually a fantastic strategy RPG that I remember playing way back when. I think it was around 2007, 2008. God, yeah. Thinking about it now, yes, I had it for the PSP. I had a huge collection for the PSP before I got rid of it. Decided to go digital when I had the Vita first time that launched. But yeah, got that game. Got like yeah, a couple of PS1 classics. Now I think about it, the PS1 classic I got was Strider 2, and that's because Strider 2 goes incredibly high in the secondhand market. As a matter of fact, there are games on the PlayStation Store right now for Vita and also for PS3 that if you try to get their copies, if you try to get their freaking copies, like used, like for example, Miss Tron bot, that's gonna be like a $400 game. So there are a lot of games that are like classics or you know that it's going to be very hard to come by. They're going to be disappearing come July or come August. They're like about $6, or they're like about like a couple dollars.
Hmm.
So it's if you're that much interested in doing that, yeah, I would recommend that. But it also led me to double thinking about it. It's like, you know what, I could spend a hell of a lot of money going to the digital storefront. But when I thought about it, it's like if my PS3 goes out, like say if that CMOS battery were to eventually die or that console eventually die, I'm gonna be shit out of luck anyway. Because I may be able to download it, my games on another PS3, but if I can't connect to the store or I can't play my digital content because of that stuff, I'm like, I gotta think of some alternative. And so I decided to purchase a full year of PlayStation Now. Now, the thing about this one is because I looked at the catalog of what they had for streaming, there was a lot of PS3 games that I had back then that I have never had back then that I decided, you know what? Let's try PlayStation Now on the PS5 and see where that goes. Cuz it was okay on the PS4 Pro. I had some input issues, especially when I was playing fighting games. So I had been testing that stuff out. But other than that, I did get some money on my birthday as well. Like I said, a lot of other type of fortunes, and I actually used part of that to purchase Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh,
Have
cool.
not played that yet. I just bought it yesterday, but there was something I was trying to finish up first before then. But how have you been, Tyler?
Doing okay, just clinging and banging as always, like you, getting my COVID shot tomorrow as well, so that's gonna be pretty sweet. Um, a little nervous, because I heard, sometimes the effects can kind of suck, but I don't know. I mean, it's nice, doing our part, Gables. It's awesome that you're getting it as well, and you and your family. So
Yep.
that's awesome. That's really cool. Um, but I got an Xbox Series S. I haven't got it
Yes.
yet, but it's coming. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. We're Saturday night as we're recording this. Um, so hopefully it comes tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not, I'm not getting too excited, but if it does, that's awesome. But so it'd be a nice little celebration for myself there, getting uh, the Xbox Series S. I was telling you before the show, and it's just like been trying the last month or so to get one. Um, but I was trying to get the Series X, and I was just thinking about, I'm like, I have a Switch, I have a PS5. It's like any of the big third-party stuff, first-party stuff. It's like there's a bunch of great first parties coming to those. All my third-party stuff, I'll just get on the PS5, and then it's like I was, it's like I wanted a game MLB The Show. I was planning on buying that anyways, and I'm like, well, fuck, instead of spending $70, it's like perfect time. It's like really this my Xbox is just would I have an Xbox One X had it for a few years, but it's basically just been my Game Pass machine at this point.
Yep.
Um, excuse me, sorry, that was a big burp there. Whew. Um, but it's basically been my Game Pass machine the last few years. Like like we Battletoads, Streets of Rage 4 was awesome last year. The year before that, like Gears 4, After Party, stuff like that. So every or Gears 5 rather. So there was some cool stuff in Haven this year. Um,
Yeah.
Outriders is a game I've been wanting to check out, and I've been, I was like, I'll just, I'll wait and stuff. I'm trying to get an Xbox. I'm not gonna pay $60 for it. It's awesome to hear that game came out. It's been, um, God, I'm really burpy. Oh my God. Let me say. Oh wow, apologize. Tastes like Doritos. That was terrible. That was a bad one. Uh, I had Doritos for the first time today in years. Gables, not great, not great. Um, but yeah. So yeah. Ooh, one second, my audio is fucking up here. Can you say something, Gables?
Ah, you should have got yourself some cool ranch Doritos.
Oh God, no. Cool Ranch is worse. Uh,
At least you'll have a zesty coolness to you.
Oh no, no, I'm all right. It's like,
Hey baby, how's it going? It's like, oh, I smell ranch and desperation.
yeah, right. It's like Axe. It's like the Axe body spray of fucking chips. Doritos Cool Ranch.
The Xbox body spray, man. It's like just Doritos ranch and stuff like that. It just sweat.
Ugh, perspiration. Ugh. Oh god, that's terrible. Now all I can think is like all Cool Ranch Doritos are is just regular Doritos with someone's armpit sweat on it. So that's forever where I'll think of now. Thanks a lot, Gables. Uh, not that I ate them anyways, so it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, but I got that. And it came with I got a bundle for my Xbox Series S. Um, and it came with a gift card for GameStop because I got through GameStop, and 3 months of Game Pass. It was no additional price than all the other stuff. I'm like, well, I was gonna get Game Pass with it anyways because my Game Pass ended a couple weeks ago, and then I'll just use my gift card to buy another 3 months of Game Pass. Perfect, works out. So yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. Gonna get that, and then perfect timing with MLB The Show 21. It's gonna be coming available on Tuesday, and then I'll play some Outriders. So I'm looking forward to that. And we're getting closer now, Gables, to that time when there's gonna be some games coming out. So that's pretty exciting. Um, but Gables, I want to talk about something very important here.
Okay.
We made some jokes back in February
Uh huh.
about a man named Reggie,
Mm-hmm.
former president of Nintendo of America.
Yeah.
We even named the episode Reggie Has Mother 3. And this motherfucker, as soon as I saw this, I sent it to you. I'm like, this son of a bitch. This son of a bitch. Put the tweet out. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Give me a second here. I don't want to misconstrue what our Lord and Savior Reggie Fils-Aimé said. Give me a second. I should have had this prep beforehand, but I've just been dumb. I almost immediately blocked him, because of it. All right, here it is. All right, what one is this fucking stupid ass thing? All right, no, that is not Reggie Fils. That is a weird account with Reggie Fils-Aimé that I don't ever want to see again. All right, okay, all right. Oh, his Twitter handle is just at Reggie. I respect that. I respect that very much. All right. Oh, he tweets a lot. My God. Did he delete the tweet? I think he deleted the tweet. Did he? Oh, here it is. I found it. Oh, okay. Here it is. So Twitch had a tweet. What's the oldest game in your library that remains unplayed? And then he quote tweeted it. Mother 3 English version. Every time I think it's time to play it, I get trolled and decide to put it off. Maybe I'll fire it up this weekend. With a gif of him going. For people, audio listeners, I nodded laboriously. This
Oh,
son of a bitch.
I love it. Just so fucking trolly, and it's
I,
hilarious.
I know he's trolling. I know it's probably not true. But what if it is Gables? And what if
You
we
don't know.
spoke this into existence? Or it's like sometimes always talk about you jinx yourself, by bringing it up. Maybe us bringing it up, we made this into existence. Maybe if Mother 3 comes out in the next calendar year, we get all the credit, and I want half the proceeds. I feel like that's fair. Everybody that buys it, we get $1 of that. But yeah, that son of a bitch. Good for him. Respect it so much. But it's like I was like, I saw that tweet. I'm like, didn't we joke about that? And I went back and I started looking. I'm like, oh fuck, we did. And we even named it that was even the title. Reggie has
Reggie
Mother 3.
has Mother 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not a mother fan. I'm a fan of my mother, and of all mothers. Don't get me wrong. But the video game mother, um, Earthbound, as you Westerners call it. Um, I don't know, Gables. What was your thoughts when you heard this news?
I actually thought it was pretty hilarious because it's more than apparent to me that it's pretty hilariously trolling each and every person, hardcore Nintendo fan that's busted his balls for years in regards to fucking Mother 3.
But I just love the idea though. If this is real, if he just had it sitting on a hard drive, if like what if
Could
it's
you
on
just
like
could you just
what?
imagine him like having a press conference or something like that? Just him like just doing a press conference, and all of a sudden you just see the TV in the background with the fucking just say Mother 3 on
Yeah, I just love the idea though. He's had it in his backlog so long, it's like installed on his Wii hard drive. Like
it. Or this fucking Wii
that's
hard
how
drive.
they did the job. They ported it. They did the translation like 14 years ago, and just like no, never mind. No one's gonna give a fuck about this game. It's I just love that idea. I'm all for that idea, but
Oh my god.
yeah, that what a fucking prick. Uh, anyways, Gables, I want to jump into this here. I've been talking a lot, over the last few months. Like, we're in that weird COVID times where I really feel like, I've talked about like this first chunk of the year, first third of the year or so, we've really felt that COVID effect for video games.
Yep.
Whereas like the the stuff that was prepped and ready to go, we saw like games get delayed last minute, like
Yep.
Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. A lot of games get pushed out to the fall that were, um, or Cyberpunk for one as well. But a lot of games got pushed out, and games did come out like like Cyberpunk, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. A lot of bugs, a lot of issues and stuff like that. But anyways, we've been in this weird chunk, where there's not a lot to play since the holidays, and we're getting closer to Gables. I've been talking about end of April, through like mid June or so. It's just a crazy rush of games. And I talk about I'm like I've said many times that I'm looking forward to a lot of games. I want to ask you some questions here, Gables, about some of the games you're looking forward to. I have a few here that I want to talk to you about. Not
Okay.
this isn't my time. This is your time. You know, down here it's your time. You know, you're a Goonie right now. Okay,
Okay.
you're sitting there. You got your Rocky Road. You're eating some Rocky Road ice cream, and we're down here. There's people. There's fucking coins and change next to the fountain. You're sitting there with your German taco, fucking eating some ice cream. He's just staring at you. While you're eating that fucking. It's like I love you, but there's chocolate in here, and I don't want you to eat it. I don't want you to get sick. So I love you very much. You know. Um.
Yeah,
Anyways, I
that would
don't know what
actually be
that.
something that my dog would actually do. Just watch me just eat something. Like,
Yeah, I haven't ate in peace in like 16, 17 years because of dogs. So I understand that sentiment. But anyways, Gables, I want to start off first here with a little game called New Pokemon Snap.
hmm,
Where are you at on this one? Buying is
I want
day one, $60.
to. Yeah, I
Okay,
would want to buy that day one because it's a nostalgia factor for me, and that I do want to play more Pokemon Snap.
okay,
I have seen enough to where it justifies me to go out and buy it, so that's definitely on a day one meter for me.
okay, cool, cool. All right, Gables, stick with April 30th for 400. Returnal for PS5,
Mm, that
70
one's more of
bucks.
a hard sell for me.
Yeah.
And it's more of a hard sell not because of like price, but also because of it being a new IP, and I'm not exactly 100% sure whether or not I'm going to like it. Another, it's a kind of a roguelike sort of experience where, you know what, I'm sort of half and half on roguelite stuff. I mean, I loved playing games like Rogue Legacy, which I played that through on the Vita. Really loved that game, thought it was fun. There were other types of games that I have that are roguelite that I haven't even had a chance to go through and play yet. Hades is one of those crimes against humanity. But at that same time, I still feel like that it was definitely a wait till a sale
Okay.
for Returnal for me.
I'm in that same sentiment, but it's not my time. It's your time. 1 week later,
Mm-hmm.
my birthday,
Yeah.
May 7th, 1989, May 7th, day live in infamy. Not that I was born. Michael Jordan hit the shot, Game 5, in Cleveland against the Cavaliers. Won the series, moved on, ended up losing to the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals. No big deal. Whatever, go Pistons. Uh, but Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village. What's your thoughts?
Mm, that's fascinating to me.
Day one.
This is going to be also one of those type of games where it's like, I see interest in it. It's definitely a game I want to play, but I would not know if I want to play day one because my track record with Resident Evil really isn't that great because I've played them. I've never beaten a Resident Evil game. Tried playing through a bit of Resident Evil 6 with you.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is definitely not the way you should introduce yourself to that series. But it's not day one. I would definitely wait for a sale for Resident Evil 8.
Okay. All right. Moving on here. 1 week later from that. Crazy time here, Gables. We got 4 games. We've had shit for like 4 months.
Hmm.
Not shit, but not a lot. We've had some stuff. But now we have 4 big games coming out in a 2 week stretch. You know, from April 30th to May 14th. 4 pretty big games. Mass Effect Legendary Collection Edition. Collection Edition. Edition.
So for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, yes, I would definitely buy that on day one. For one, I have a huge nostalgia
There's
thing for
two.
the original Mass Effect trilogy. Two, I had been yearning to play through the entirety of that series ever since last year when COVID did hit, and I was going through that spin of playing things, watching things, whatever type of hell things going on. But it's about time for me to not only play through the Mass Effect series again, but also to do it from beginning to end with my same save file.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quintessentially,
Yeah.
I never did that because I always would switch between consoles.
Oh.
360, PS3. Started with 360, finished with PS3. Wanted to get that stuff cleared out. And what's kind of hilarious about it is checking my PS3, checking the save data for the cloud, I still have all my DLC for the Mass Effect 2 and 3 on PS3, plus all the
Nice.
patches and shit
Very
that
cool.
I've had saved in the cloud. So it's like, oh god. All right,
All right. Cool. Are you male shep, fem shep?
mail shop.
Okay. Very cool. Are you gonna Liara, Miranda,
Hmm. Here's the thing. When I initially played through the
Garrus?
Mass Effect series, I started with. Oh, no, I didn't start with you guys. I started Mass Effect 1 and chose Ashley over Caden, which that one,
Caden sucks.
But
Come on. Ashley's
yeah, I
not
know
very good
Caden
either.
sucks.
But I mean,
Well, yeah, in the first one, but it was like a romance option. I went with Ashley in the first game, went with Miranda in the second game because, for God's sake, why wouldn't I not go with Miranda for the second game? But for the third one, I went back to Ashley in that regards. I
mm,
didn't
mm, mm.
experiment with the aliens or anything else like that. I just went through with like just what I would go through, you
See,
know.
I was the same way. I went Ashley, Miranda, but then I went Liara, and
Ah,
I didn't mean to go Liara. I meant to go Miranda in the third one,
ah,
but then I didn't realize I picked this option in Mass Effect 3, and I ended up choosing Liara in the end because I wanted Miranda. But I
well, yeah.
looking back in Mass Effect 1, if I would rather fuck Rex instead of Ashley.
Well, the thing about it was like you have Ashley in the first game. You think she's dead in the second one because of like story stuff. So with
Right.
Miranda, and then all of a sudden she gets reintroduced and stuff into like, well, how she is, which is entirely different from the first game.
Yeah,
She's not as stuck up. She's more kind of like a wild
but
renegade type. It's like, yeah.
she's in it for like one fucking scene in two, which kind of sucks. But
Yeah, I agree
uh,
with it.
I'm excited. I'm excited. We finally got some gameplay stuff too this past week. So all right,
I'll tell
moving
you
on.
something.
Okay.
I'll tell you something I am excited for game release things that is going to tie into a game I know that you've played that I still own that I never have played, and is actually a game that is like the main character is like the brother of like the other game for
Okay.
what I'm talking about is Near Replicant.
Oh, okay. I skipped that because I didn't think you'd be interested.
Well, here's the thing, man. It's like I like JRPGs. I have never played through Near Automata. However, I am interested in playing through Near Replicant in that regards because in the grand scheme of things, you have the original Nier, which was on PS3 and 360. That's the father, right? And so Nier Automata, his daughter and stuff, and then Nier Replicant, his son. So it's
Mm.
like the little brother, quintessentially.
Yeah.
The gameplay is a remaster thing from a PS3 game that never came stateside. The gameplay content looks pretty cool in that regards. I am interested in seeing what they have done to improve not only on that old game's gameplay, but see how much that they've evolved since near like Automata and stuff in that regards. But I am definitely in the mind where I wouldn't buy day one, but I would love to play that game at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm jumping, with Nier because it's like if that came out like in March or February or something like that, in like this last couple months, day one would have picked up, played, probably would have enjoyed it. But it's like coming out April 23rd. It's a week before the big stretch of games are coming up, so it's like I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna put $60 down now. and I want to hear what people are saying about it. Their previews so far have been pretty good. Um, so which is exciting. But it's like, yeah, near, like I never played the original Near. Don't know anything about Dragon's Dogma, or not Dragon's Dogma, but Dragon Guard, Dragon whatever. The game is
Dragon
based off.
Guard.
What is it?
Okay. Drakengard. That's
Yeah,
a
Dragon.
series that was on PS2. I know Drakengard 3 was a PS3 game. I used to know somebody that was heavily into like the Drakengard series, cosplay characters and stuff. Liked Nier and a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, that's basically like it's. I believe it's sort of Nier in and of itself is sort of like a prequel series to Drakengard. I'm not entirely
Yeah,
100%.
basically, from what I understand, is like there's multiple endings in those games, and Near is basically if what is basically what like the future of one of those endings, I guess.
Yep.
Is what it's based off of. I got all that knowledge base from Imran Khan, who's he's working for Fanbyte right now. He's the editor in chief there, but part of kind of funny. He's actually writing a book about the Near franchise, which
Hmm.
yeah.
Huh.
Um, very confusing. This makes sense. I beat Nier Automata. I love that game. I don't. I understand Metal Gear Solid story more better than I fucking understand Nier Automata. Um, it's very
That's
weird,
saying
but
something right
yeah,
there.
it's a fantastic game. But and then like 26 innings. But moving on here, Gables. Now we had four pretty big games coming out in a 2 week span. Then we got a few weeks. We got a few weeks here, Gables, to rest and relax. Just
True.
dive into that 100 hours it's going to take us to beat Mass Effect Legendary Edition, if we can. Now I'm talking about the third. The third. I had to check that in my head again. Um, PS5 only game. This isn't on
Right.
cross gen. This isn't multi-platform. This is only on one platform. We're talking Demon Souls. We're talking the best game of the generation so far, Destruction All Stars. We're talking. That's sarcasm. I want to
I
make, I
know.
want
I
to preface
know.
that. I don't want to put that into the wild. I want people to know. I couldn't continue the bit. I don't want people to know. No, fuck that. But the third PS5. Well, I guess there's actually a playroom, but Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, June 11th.
Hmm. Yes, there is some interest in there. I definitely would love to play the sequel to the 2016 game.
$70.
Yeah, it's $70. And honestly, it depends upon how much I enjoy playing the 2016 game from now upwards to the game's release,
Mm-hmm.
because I am planning on playing through that game.
PS5 update
But
just came out too.
oh yeah, they most recently came out. The game recently just came out with a 4K patch and everything else for that thing. So that is definitely going to be something. But depending upon if I like it or not, I'm probably going to get that day one.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's definitely the one. All right, moving off of those, we're gonna go. We're gonna give a little Nintendo love right now. You know, Tupac wrote a famous song about Nintendo love, obviously. Not California, Nintendo love. Um, I don't know where I was going with that. I didn't have anything to play off that. I don't know why. Anyways, moving on. I've already had like 5 beers. All right, Mario Golf is June 25th. Gables, what's your thoughts? Are you getting that one? Day one?
Day
60 bucks?
one,
Yeah. Oh God,
day
that's it.
one.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Dude, I love Mario Golf, and it's been such a long time since I played a console Mario Golf and enjoyed it. Oh boy, Toadstool Tour. That was a great game on GameCube. It definitely has me going with that. And plus, when the last Mario Golf game came out on the 3DS, I enjoyed playing that a hell of a lot as well. So it's like, it's no question, man. If it came to one of the Mario sports games on the Switch, I mean, I was somewhat interested in Mario Tennis, but Mario Golf is where I want to play.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
I'm very hopeful for Mario Golf because Mario Tennis really disappointing because they really built up that campaign. That campaign was garbage. They're doing the same thing right now with Mario Golf. They're building up that campaign. I hope it's not garbage. Um,
I care about just going through the cups. I mean, just going, just getting the gold
yeah.
trophies and
Oh yeah, of
characters.
course. I mean that's gonna be fun, but for, like to add something else to it though, because once you like
Because it sort of has that, from what I've seen, it sort of has that aspect of how Mario Golf Advance Tour was with the Game Boy Advance, where you had an RPG element tacked on with it. I believe the Game Boy Color version of Mario Golf had the same similar like thing, but in terms of that, it was more scope and scale of you building your characters throughout either being technical, either being speedy, either being powerful in that regards. It was also like a short sports RPG
yeah.
in that regards.
Oh yeah, I don't
Kind of
want 20 hours, but like if it's like 5 hours, that'd be fucking awesome.
shit. If it's like a 5 hour like sports RPG with like unlockable characters or whatsoever, you're facing off against like four champions of each individual like course thing that you're going through, like a specific cup or whatever. That's fine by me. I would love that hook, line, sinker. I mean,
Mm.
hell, I enjoyed it all those years ago, back around the late '90s. I sure as hell would love playing it through in 2020.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, it could be 2020 still. Who knows? All right. Well, last but not least, Gables, we're sticking with the Switch for 600. Skyward Sword, July 16th,
mm.
$60.
Mm.
Oh, hmm. He's
Mm.
thinking about it, ladies and gentlemen. He is thinking about it.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about it.
He's rubbing the chin.
It's when it comes to Zelda releases, that's definitely something that I do want to try to play. That is honestly, if it becomes available, I would buy that day one because it's the 35th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series. We have nothing else yet in terms of collaborations or in terms of like remastered like collection things that have been announced yet. We probably won't until June since the Mario stuff's done
E3.
and over with. We still got a multitude of other things to know about. And because Nintendo's going to be at E3 this June, I still feel like I'm going to get Skyward Sword Remaster Day 1
All right.
on the Switch.
Well, Gable, speaking of E3, Ubisoft has announced they're having a Ubisoft Forward. You like that fucking segue, people? You like that? Woo! Yeah!
Okay,
Sorry,
Kirk
Louis. I
Cousins,
just scared the
settle down.
shit out of Louis. He did not like that one bit. He was sound asleep and not anymore. He's like, what the fuck just happened?
Huh?
What is going on, Dad? He's gone. I don't know where he went. He's going in the bedroom now. He's like, fuck you, I'm out. I respect that. I love you, Louis. He didn't even say I love you back. What a dick. Love you. Sorry. I feel bad. Genuinely feel bad. But anyways, I had an awesome segue, but then I ruined it by calling out the segue, and then I got distracted by my dog. So I just fucking killed it. But anyways, Ubisoft has announced they're having a Ubisoft Forward at E3 2021, the first one to give us an actual date so far. They announced on Thursday that they're having the event, and it'll be a digital press briefing, like basically a direct, like we've been having for a while. Then we had two forwards last year. On June 12th, to Saturday at 3 p.m. East Coast time. I'm sorry, scratch that. 1 p.m. Pacific time, West Coast, Best Coast time. Uh, so yeah, I mean, not too much to add here. I just thought that was, where we finally, we were talking about E3 lately, and like, what's the plans gonna be for? They said it's gonna be the 12th through the 15th. So this is the first one. Like usually EA Play has out, and they usually kick off on Saturdays, and Ubisoft
Yes.
usually Monday afternoon. So we're already right away, boom, seeing a difference here. Um, and hopefully, we'll probably see finally have some more details because like at this point, Far Cry 6 and Ride the Republic were already supposed to be out, and that's already those have been delayed, and we've had no news. And then there's the Prince of Persia as well. Three Ubisoft games were supposed to have been out already, and both of which have already been were already delayed. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, not too much add there, but I thought that was just kind of cool and interesting, Gables. That we are,
Hmm.
it's usually by this point we already kind of have dates. We already have an idea when everything's when all the press conferences are going to be, and it's like here we are in mid-April, 2 months out, and now we're finally getting some dates. Hopefully, we get the rest here soon. What about you, Gables? What's your
Yes.
thoughts on all this?
Well, honestly, I'm kind of interested in seeing what they'll present over inside of the Ubisoft forefront. I mean, there's going to be a couple things we're going to be obviously seeing. Something Assassin's Creed related, something Tom Clancy related,
Yeah.
something in regards and whatever the hell type of sports thing they're going to try to shove down. There's going to be a Just Dance game.
Yeah.
They've gotten so fucking predictable over the past five
Yeah.
years.
Well,
It's like,
last year we didn't have a Just Dance thing though, so I mean, I guess we did, but it was like virtual thing.
yeah,
So I would actually like, I'm someone that I was someone that definitely hated the Just Dance shit, but like, kind of miss it now. It's kind of fun. Like I yeah, like I said, I talked about for a long time. I just wish everybody just did these digital press conferences. Just cut out the fucking fat. Just get to the meat. That's the good shit of these
yeah,
press conferences. But sometimes you kind of miss the fun. Like I miss the fucking, E3 with like when Reggie and all of them turn to puppets, or like Reggie and Iwata. Speaking of, I want to just show that off right there. Uh,
Ask Iwata's book.
Yep, I
Ah,
bought that today. I bought that over the week. Um, but Iwata and Reggie having a fucking Smash Brothers fight, like I missed that shit. It was good times. Or like fucking Miyamoto coming out on the Ubisoft stage and with the fucking gun on his hand. God, I just thought of that. Fucking please, just make it happen. Give me that Mario Plus Rabbids 2. That's just give me that. That's all I want. Please, God, I'll take it. I'll
uh,
take it anywhere
well,
you
that
want
would
me to
make a lot
take
of
it.
sense.
Um, but yeah, it's exciting. We're getting some news, and that's just the first domino to fall here. So, um, I imagine Nintendo will probably Tuesday if we have one, and I
Hmm.
hope it's over the weekend. I just hope it's like, or we get them all over the weekend, because mostly selfishly, because I'm not able to get that time off this year, unfortunately.
Well,
Um,
let's see here. For June 12th is going to be on a
yep.
Saturday, I want to
And they
say.
said it's the
Then
12th through the 15th, so that's Tuesdays
12th to the
15th.
15th. You know what's kind of interesting? I was able to get that week off
You
for the
fucking
12th
asshole.
all the way to the 19th and stuff from my
Are we
workplace.
doing we used to do every year during E3? We just gonna fucking every night get on and podcast?
We may exactly do that, dude. I mean, it's something that we had done for years and stuff up until last year when that whole shit went down.
Yeah.
But
I always thought that was our best system. Instead of just doing like one big show that's like 3 hours long, or two big shows that are 2 hours each, just break them up conference by conference. So, I guess that's something we can hatch out later. But yeah, I'm excited. It was the first time like oh cool, E3's back. We talked about it last week. It's like I definitely prefer that system. But like when I started seeing like dates like for conferences, I'm like, all right, I started getting those chills a little bit. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, all right, cool. It's like I understand why people hate the ESA. I understand why all that shit, but it's like, man, nothing's better than E3. It's Extra Life, E3, my two favorite
mm-hmm.
times of the year. Um, for just it's just exciting times. So cannot wait. But Gables, moving on here to some other news. Um, I don't. It just started off as like kind of a big thing. Like it's like started breaking over like Thursday night, um, and like Friday afternoon, it kind of was squashed a little bit. But I thought it was something we could mention, keep an eye out a little bit. But I don't feel like it's too much. So Square Enix, there's been some rumors that this was a Bloomberg Japan article that came out that there's been some potential buyers interested in purchasing Square Enix. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to read some bits of articles from IGN here. So Bloomberg has reported today that there's interest from several buyers to acquire Square Enix. So interest from potential buyers. So nothing um, too crazy here. Not like Discord or like that, where like Microsoft is in talks. It's more people are interested. However, this report is not based on any announcement by Square Enix. So I want to find the quote here. Oh, here it is. So we do not consider selling off the company or any part of its businesses, nor have we received any offers from a third party to acquire the company or any party of its business. So I thought there was some interesting stuff here. I'm not a stock guy. I don't understand the stonks. Obviously, we talked about that with the Gabe stonks a couple months ago. But from what I understand, with uh, if you're so they're a public company in Japan, Square Enix is. I'm not sure about U.S., but I know in Japan they're a public company. Like Nintendo has like they're a public company as well in Japan, I think, and also in the U.S. But anyways, um, if you're a public company and someone gives you a serious offer, so it can't be just me showing, hey, I got $5, I'll buy it. Like that's bullshit. But if you are someone that gives a serious offer, then you are legally required to listen to it and also talk to your board of directors about and stock owners and shit like that. People like about the purchase and talk about it and vote on it and all that. So uh, not also be more public knowledge. It'd be harder to keep that secret. So they said they have not received any offers and they're not planning on selling it. Obviously, everybody has a price.
Mm-hmm.
To quote the $1 Million Man. And I like I said, I think if someone gave him a serious offer, we probably would have heard some. We'd hear something more. But I'm not surprised to hear that. If that people are interested in buying Square Enix, like I said, I don't understand all this shit, how all this shit works, but basically, from what I'm understanding right now is like Microsoft, a lot of big companies are interested in, like they have money in holdings right now, and they're interested in spending that because of interest levels are so low, and the value of the American dollar isn't uh, is higher right now than it will. It could be later. Obviously, pandemic shit like that. It's causing a lot of issues, potential issues down the road. But anyways, um, I think it's interesting. But I also think that like people are mentioning Microsoft, but it's like in like Japan, if Square Enix were to sell to an American company, that's like kind of a big no-no there. Like they don't like it when you sell to out of country. It's kind of the same thing here. It's like like we like people we love Ford tough, we love Chevy, we love American companies, for the most part. Um, so it's kind of the same idea in there in Japan where and stuff like that, and like where people like it's more of a respect thing where you don't sell to. So I think Microsoft's out of it. Sony can't afford them probably because it's valued at 7 billion, but they're worth a lot more than fucking Bethesda's worth. I think, and I think most people would
And
agree with
that's
that.
true. Yeah, the longevity, the prestige of the franchises that they own and stuff, the importance of their IP
Yeah,
was definitely more expensive than say like a Bethesda from that point perspective. I know at the same point, it's like I'm not surprised to hear that there are people potentially wanting to buy Square Enix. I mean, we hear it from time to time as well through rumors or other type of scuttlebutt throughout the industry, where it's like, okay, somebody wants to purchase Sega, or somebody thinking about maybe securing Atlas,
yeah,
or even like for things like a little bit of obscure, like oh hey, maybe next level games or something like that. We're gonna there's people potentially wanting to talk to buy that stuff. It's more so things that we hear through either the rumor mills or whatsoever, nothing concrete in terms of Square Enix and stuff. I mean, yeah, they're required really to just listen to the offer and stuff like that, but the odds of them being purchased in any major like capacity by like one company or like two companies or something like that, it's extremely low in that retrospect. Unless the company in general that wants to acquire them, like a big old industry like something a massive influence were to go through, like say like a Tencent or like anything of that sort, with massive amount of income that could actually go through and have that going through. But at the same time, you have to get approved also by like trade commissions as well. There's
yeah,
other types of standards and guidelines you got to follow in order for an acquisition to be purchased.
yeah.
I mean, Microsoft just went through that with Bethesda, and it took, even though they announced it months back
Like
that
September.
they,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly, like September that they bought, quintessentially are buying Bethesda and stuff. It took until early this year in 2021, and even like towards like February or March this past
yeah. It's
this
like
year,
7 8 months or so, give or take.
right? Exactly, to finalize the transaction and actually go through and announce what they are working on alongside them. But it's fascinating to hear stuff like this because you know you get to hear a bit about how much like say company how prestigious like a company is to specific sort of things of investors and stuff, because they're always looking to get that one extra company or that one extra thing that's going to help drive up their stock and their prices all the way up. But it also could lead to something potentially even much more interesting down the line, like a partnership
Mm,
in regards to maybe two different companies that want to go through and like support each other through like a series of deals and stuff.
yeah. I Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think the 10 cent thing's gonna happen because that's China-based country.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the how China and Japan are with things. I don't know about all of that, but um, I don't know. I mean, if they get sold, they get sold. I'm not gonna be like super upset about it. I'd rather they didn't because I think Square Enix is like doing really well right now. Um, which I mean, we were talking about I was talking about Outriders earlier. It's like that game came like there's a demo for that like a month ago in like the beta, and people were like, this isn't great. Like even last year when previews were coming out because it got delayed like a whole year. It's like this isn't great. And then like because Square Enix is publishing the game, and then there was that demo that came out probably a few weeks ago, a month ago, and it's like started to turn around. And like we'll get to the NPDs here later, but that game is doing massively well. Um, and people are behind it like are pretty positive about that game. So it seems like Square Enix like went from like there was this time there where like even like Capcom as well. We're like, oh, these companies aren't doing too hot right now, and like definitely turn it around. So it's like awesome. Like if they do get purchased, I hope they're able to just kind of keep the route they're going. Like we're seeing, because it seems like both are in a good direction. But yeah, I just as far as like I mean, if I think if they do get bought, if it's say it's Japan based, it's probably gonna be a company we don't really know much about, or because I don't think
From the offset until you realize the severity of what or who is purchasing them
Yeah,
and why they're purchasing them.
yeah. Because like I said, Sony and Nintendo probably can't afford it for the price. I mean, what I
No,
think it was like 7.3 billion for,
a
but
couple of their IPs, yes,
yeah,
but not them outright.
yeah. So and I hope I mean, because like if Nintendo bought them, that would suck. Just because those games they make some of the best looking fucking games on consoles,
But
and
then again, wasn't it like months ago, like even like this time last year, where we actually didn't think that it was possible for Bethesda to be bought outright by a
yeah. Oh yeah,
company?
it came out of nowhere, but yeah, but like I said, $1 million man. Everybody has a price. So I just don't. I really don't want Nintendo to buy them just because I'd hate to see what Final Fantasy VII remake will look like on the Switch. That's
For
all.
Nintendo, they're more or less concerned about keeping their core group of developers and elements. So when they had the chance to secure next level games, which they eventually did
Yeah,
because of the work they've done for them for years and stuff like that, it came out of left field. For one, is because you don't hear too much of Nintendo actively going through securing studios. Two, it also brought to light that yeah, there was actually like no one knew. Actually, not a lot of people knew that Next Level Games was just independent. In
yeah,
that regards, they weren't. And also three, it's because other competitors, like say from Microsoft or from Sony or whatsoever, were interested in trying to buy them.
yeah,
That they went through and actually moved in and just got them when they did.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it sounds like Microsoft's not done buying or Xbox and stuff like that. It's not done buying
Oh,
studios. So
they've actually mentioned, actively said that they are still looking into buying like potentially more studios. I
yeah,
mean, they have not cut that rumor off at all.
yeah, which is exciting. And then just the shit they're on Game Pass. So I hope they can keep that shit rolling.
Mm.
But moving on here to some other news here, Gables. We had our second Resident Evil showcase this past
Oh yeah.
Thursday. Um, so I once again, I had this issue. I think with the state of play, with work. I've talked about in the past. I was telling you before the show, like where, like I'm usually in southern Iowa, so the reception isn't as well down there. So I have like issues with connection. But like I can like YouTube, I can't even load up really. But Twitch, like I don't ever go on Twitch, but like I wanted to watch a showcase for during my lunch break, so I was trying to watch it and like so I had to watch it on Twitch. And what's super weird is that I watched the Twitch one this game that I'm about to talk about wasn't even on it. It was on the YouTube one, but it wasn't on the Twitch one. Resident Evil 4
Wow.
VR was announced for the Oculus Rift. So it was so weird. I don't understand it. Like I was like, the fuck? And I was like, and I was I didn't go back to watch the YouTube version, but I just that's what people were saying. I guess was that the Twitch version didn't have this one. So but Resident Evil
Hmm.
4 VR was announced for Oculus Quest. There's going to be on April 21st, so this Wednesday, there's going to be a Oculus Games showcase, and they're going to delve more into it. But we're getting a VR version of Resident Evil 4, so not the remake. I think we're all hoping for, but we're getting this. It's going to be in first person. We saw like a teaser trailer for it. Neither one of us have Oculus. We're not. I have a PSVR, which I don't really care. I don't ever play anymore, and then I don't think you've had anything VR. So I think it's
Nope.
safe to say that neither one of us interested in playing this anytime soon.
No, not really.
Mm,
I think
yeah,
it's kind of hilarious that even in regards to anything like VR related, even around my area and stuff, they usually just sit.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. So I imagine this is a thing where Oculus just shelled out some money to have them make this. Kind of like
Yeah,
Resident
most
Evil
definitely.
7 with PSVR, same thing. Um, and then we had the most confusing demo uh, timeline I've ever fucking heard in my entire life. It's like Nintendo did some weird shit with like the Splatfest and the same thing with what the fuck else they do. They Splatfest and something else. I can't remember what it was. But anyway,
Not just Splatfest, but they also have on occasion put out demos and stuff to where you have a specific number of tries that you
yeah.
can go
But what
through
was that? They did a
and
Splatfest and did it for something else. Arms. It was Arms. Uh,
yep, global test.
yeah. So yeah, Global Test. Thank you. But they're kind of doing the same thing here with Resident Evil, where they're having like there's demos. The demo went live today for some people. I think you have to have it pre-ordered, so I have it pre-ordered on PS5. So I think you can. I was able to play the demo today
Hmm.
for like a stretch, like 8 hour stretch, but they're calling it 8 hours in Village, which I gotta be honest, that sounds like a porn title. But you can only play
And
it for 30
incredibly
minutes.
misleading too, dude. It's like when I heard the first thing that they announced is like 8 hours of Village. I'm like, oh, I get to play in the Village for eight
Yeah.
hours. What?
I see. I heard 8 hours of Village. I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds sexy. I'm thinking Lady D, me, Lady D, 8 hours, 30 minutes. That's 28 more minutes than I need. But okay, let's fucking go. Um,
Oh, it's I know it was interesting. It's like you got a chance to choose between either being inside the village or being inside the mansion in that retrospect, and I felt it was initially kind of misleading in that retrospect because it's like they worded it in a way where it's like it made you seem like you were going to play this demo for like about 8 hours or something like that. You could potentially do that, but when I heard the initial thing, I was like, "Oh, you have this 8 hour time period in order to go through and play through this demo." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
yeah. It so there's also two demos. There's a village demo and a castle demo.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, it's a 60-minute demo, but really it's not 60 minutes. There's just two 30-minute demos, and there's like three different days you can play them on. Um, Super confusing. That was the only thing. Like honestly, like they started off with that, and I missed mentally. I watched it, but I missed the rest of the press conference because I was like scratching my head. I'm like, okay, when the fuck? Okay, I have it pre-ordered, but if you
Which
don't,
reasonably so,
but
dude,
you
because
don't
that's
have it
fucking.
pre-ordered, I can play.
I don't know why they did
Yeah,
this. Honestly, I have no idea. They could have just put out a fucking demo and just say, "Hey, you have an hour to play through what we got going through here right now,"
yeah,
and it's like you could do that and then wait for the fucking game to release instead of like have it just introduced inside of fucking waves and stuff. So that way you have this particular time period to play this thing, this particular time period to play that thing. You know, it's
yeah. But it's like, oh, if you have
just made it
if you have
a lot
you have it pre-ordered,
stupid.
there's these times you can play it. If you have a PlayStation console, there's these times you can play it. But if you don't have those consoles, you have another console, you have a PC, you can play it during this time. Or if you have Google Stadia, you can play it this time. It was very confusing. That was like I had a
Here's the thing. And here's the thing that I'm gonna just touch upon right here. When you require a fucking flow chart in order to go through and present your demo playable to your fucking fan base, you got a problem.
mhm, yeah. Um, Wario 64 took some screenshots. Thank God. And I was looking at them later on, but I'm looking at the time things right now. I'm still confused. Uh, so yeah, I'm not even gonna bother fucking talk about the times. Just look them up yourself if you're interested in it. But we got another trailer for it for Resident Evil 8 Village with mm, Lady D. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry. I'm looking at some screenshots here of Lady D in the article here. But yeah. Anyways, we got some more. We got a little bit more some kind of story stuff to it. I don't really want to, I mean, just some spoiler stuff out there if you want, but I feel like the game is hiding a lot from us.
Probably.
I feel like they're doing some misleading shit. I think, but I'm cool with that because obviously I'd rather not know than know. But yeah. Next up we had Mercenaries is coming back to Resident Evil Village. I don't think. When's the last time we had a Mercenaries mode in a game?
Let's see. Mercenaries mode.
Resident Evil 6, actually. Okay.
Okay, Resident Evil 6 had mercenary mode, but also, believe it or not, on the 3DS, I believe
There was
there
that.
there was there was mercenary game that was fairly popular
Yeah.
that people loved.
Yeah, I remember it got kind of got bad reviews though, because like mediocre reviews because it was like a full price game. So
Right, because it was a full price game, but yet at the same time, people that did go through and play it and end up trying it out, they did enjoy the experience for what it was.
yeah, I remember playing that a lot, and not a lot, but I remember playing it on Resident Evil 4 after I beat it like 1900 times. I was like, oh, maybe let's check this mode out. And I just didn't really care for it. Um, I'm hopeful. I'll check it out probably. Just because I think the big issue with like not the issue, but like Resident Evil's like the gameplay isn't the best part about those games. Usually, it's more the set pieces and the area you're in, and the gameplay is kind of secondary, which is totally fine. This kind of game, that's what I want. But um, yeah. But I mean, I know a lot of Resident Evil fans were super excited about this coming back, which is awesome. They did a little bit of talking about Resident Evil Reverse. There's a beta that's out. That's been out for a while now. It's free to anybody can download and play it. I have not. That just it seems like it's gonna come and go. Like That Resident Evil Resistance thing came out like with the Resident Evil 3, and with like 2 months, it was gone already. Like they already stopped supporting it after like 2 months. I feel like Reverse will have a little more buzz around it because it's a full fledged next title. It's not a remake. But I don't see Resident Evil Reverse um, doing anything substantial. Then we had Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which is the Netflix animated. I believe it's a series actually, not a movie. Is
Yes,
it a series? Okay. All right,
it actually is a
so
series.
I'm confused. So it said in the thing in the trailer it showed, it said Netflix animated series, but in this article it's saying animated movie coming in July. So
It
it's
looks like a actual series,
yeah.
to be perfectly
I,
honest
I,
with you.
I, I don't yeah I think I think it's a series, but I don't fucking know. But anyways, so it's President Evil basically. So it takes place shortly after Resident Evil 4. Leon Kennedy is and Claire Redfield are in the White House, and a zombie outbreak happens. Ashley Graham, who was the daughter of the president, who was in Resident Evil 4, the one he had to take care of the whole time. Um, sounds like Leon's there to meet President Graham. Um, I'm starting to think that maybe Leon should just stay away from the president and any of his family members. He'd be so much safer. Like, let them die, go on with your life, and be happily ever. Just live happy ever after with Claire Redfield, or Lady D rather. Actually, I'd fucking push Claire Redfield on the ground. Get yourself some Lady D. Um, that's always my just you know what, every guy out there, push your lady on the ground, get you Lady D. That should be like the ultimate battle royale game where it's every male human in the world. We all just the last man standing gets Lady D. The ultimate battle royale right there. Boom. I've been playing Fortnite in the last couple months, Gables. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not very good at building, so I'm gonna need you to do all the work, and I'm gonna hide in a bathtub until there's like 8 of us left, and then hopefully I can just kind of outsmart and flank some people, and then if it gets down to us two, Gables, I mean, the best man win. You know. So if if you win, that's awesome. As long as one of us gets Lady D, I think I'll be happy. Honestly, um, and don't act like you don't want that Lady D because we all do. I'm not gonna say her. I'm not gonna try to say her name because God knows. It was even like a huge thing when Brittany from What's Good Games, she was hosting the event. She was like the first person to actually say her name out loud, and it was like, whoa, that's how you say it this whole time. And even she had to go on Twitter afterwards. She's like, hey, I went on and asked them, is this how you pronounce it? And they basically gave me the okay. She's like, I'm not even 100% sure if that's how you pronounce it, but they said it was fine, so I went with it. So who the fuck knows? So it's Lady D. Um, and that's, but I'll call her whatever she wants me to call her while she's crushing me with my feet. Moving on. I don't give a so with the Infinite Darkness. Like I'm not a big animated guy. Uh, although I have been getting into Invincible, the awesome Amazon Prime TV show lately. Um, but I thought this looked kind of good actually. I was a little surprised. What about you?
Honestly, it looks kind of interesting in that regards. I mean, hell, it has a lot of potential. It could be something fairly fun to watch and stuff. It has that definitely a good quality animated sort of look and feel about it. So yeah, definitely seems like it's going to be a good series.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yes, I'll at least check out the. I mean, if it's I don't like I said I don't know if it's a movie or a series, but I'll at least check it out. If it's I'll give it a shot. Because and then I was hoping we got a trailer for the new Resident Evil movie. That was supposed to come Labor Day, but got delayed to I think November or something like that.
Right.
It's done. It's wrap shooting. So I was hoping we got like a trailer for that, but I imagine we'll see something this summer probably. And then also last but not least here, Resident Evil. There's gonna be a Dead by Daylight collaboration.
Uh,
There's gonna be it's the fifth anniversary on May 25th for Dead by Daylight. So there's gonna be a collab chapter in June for Resident Evil, but there's no real. It's just like teaser trailer. I don't know what's gonna be there. Probably Mr. X or something like that.
dude, it's probably going to be Jill and Nemesis.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. I think I want. It'd be cool if they did both. I'm not a Dead by Daylight guy. I know you are definitely
I
been a
definitely have
fan.
played my fair share of Dead by
Yeah,
Daylight and stuff, and that's the first thing that kind of popped into my head. It's like, okay, they're gonna have Jill Valentine, they're gonna have Nemesis and stuff.
yeah,
That makes a hell of a lot of sense with that. You could also go possibly with say like Chris Redfield and Albert Wesker. I mean, that could also be something you could do as well.
When they do these collaborations, they normally just pick one, or they can do multiple sometimes.
They could do multiple sometimes. I mean, let's just. I'll be perfectly honest with you. With the whole Silent Hill stuff, you had like the main protagonist of Silent Hill 3, and also you had Pyramid Head
Oh,
for the
okay.
monster.
All right.
So
So
quintessentially for these licensed stuff, you'll have maybe one, sometimes occasionally two hero characters, and then you have the villain character, quintessentially the killer.
okay.
It happened also with say like Stranger Things, because you had
Yeah.
the two like leads and stuff like that for that series, and then you had the Demogorgon and stuff as like the main monster.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. So yeah, maybe they'll have Mr. X and uh, Nemesis. But
Eh.
moving on here, Gables 2, our last topic here. We have the NPDs from March. So I've been kind of interested
Oh,
in these for because I talked about last month where you know because we always look they always look okay this time last year the sales percentage went up like and we've seen the last basically 11 months of NPDs where like you compare it to 2019 fucking sales double tripled whatever just because COVID and everything like that um, and
yes.
I mentioned last month when we were talking about February like well okay we're gonna look at March next month for NPDs and that's the first time we're gonna be comparing pandemic month to quasi pandemic month but Jeff Grubb here. This is an article he wrote from Venture Beat. He always does, I think, a good wrap up for the NPDs. But he talked to Matt Piscatella, who's one of the NPD analysts. He's the one guy that he's the go-to guy about these NPDs for video games. He talked about that. So the sales from this time last year are up 18% from
Hmm.
2020, but he brought up a good point where really the pandemic didn't start till mid to late March and we didn't really see that big boom until March 20th with Animal Crossing and Doom. Really more Animal Crossing than anything. So still bump up 18% higher, $5.6 billion were spent in the month of March. Then also helps they have two new consoles. Switch was still the highest selling console for the month of March. No surprise there. Um, I'm curious how that's going to be though once we get to the point where we start to see that Switch Pro coming out. That gets announced, and then also when we get the semiconductor issue fixed, and we get the PS5s and Xbox Series consoles out there a little more regularly. But they also announced that PS5 is now the fastest selling console in U.S. history. Um,
Hmm.
so I thought that was kind of fascinating. So despite all of the issues about getting the consoles made, still outpacing every console ever made in its first like 5 months on the market. Um, so yeah, for overall, $14.9 billion was spent in the first quarter of 2020. Or I'm sorry, one second. First, $14.9 billion spent in the first quarter of 2021, 30% higher compared to 2020 in that time frame, which makes sense because the first 2 months of last year when we were not in a pandemic. Um, so sales still way up overall. And then moving on here to the top 20 selling games of March 2021. Um, so obviously some of these games don't include digital sales like Nintendo doesn't include digital sales. 2K doesn't do digital sales. But moving on here. So starting at number 20 here, we have number 20, FIFA 21. Number 19, Super Mario Party. Number 18, NBA 2K21. So a bit of a drop from them. They go from 13 to 18, but they also now have been added to Game Pass. So maybe that affects some stuff there. I'm not sure. Um, Number 17, Madden NFL 21. Number 16, Breath of the Wild. Number 15, Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time. It's a weird jump. Number 14, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 13, Pokemon Sword Shield. Number 12, Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 11, Modern Warfare. Number 10, Minecraft. Okay, but oddly enough, it was 8 the month before. Number 9, Mario 3D All Stars. Rest in peace. Number 7, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 6, Mario Kart 8. Number 5, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 4, dropping from 1 to 4, Mario 3D World. Number 3, Outriders. Number
Hmm.
2, Monster Hunter Rise. And then number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. No surprise there. So Gables, a pretty. There's only 2 new titles on this list. Number 2, Monster Hunter Rise, Switch exclusive game. Number 3, Outriders, a game that launched on Game Pass, but only on Game Pass for Series S, Series X console owners. Um,
Interesting.
so, Gibbs, what's your thoughts on this list here?
What's interesting about it is because of the Switch release of Crash 4, that actually propelled it up on the NPT lists and
I
stuff
forgot.
to
Yeah,
that like number 14
yeah, it
spot.
went from
I think it
65th
was.
to 15th. So from the previous month.
That tells me that a lot of people were waiting for the Switch release in order to buy Crash 4.
Yeah,
But what's interesting to note is like Monster Hunter Rise not being the top of the NPD charts, and that's more or less because of Call of Duty Cold War. I
yeah,
mean, there's plenty of people that want to play that game, obviously, but at the same time, it's like between that and Outriders having a pretty much a good sales month in its opening thing. I mean, it was not on the market for that long either. But honestly, I'm glad to see Monster Hunter Rise and Outriders performing well over at retail for that initial month, especially for Monster Hunter Rise, since a lot of people were looking forward to it, have yet to dive head first into that game, but at the same time, can't wait to try that out.
yeah. So 9 of the top 19 games are Switch exclusives. So no
Yep.
surprise there. Switch killing it as always. Um, but yeah, I think this is kind of like last month was very boring because it was just like we've been talking like I've been talking about. There's no new games really coming out. We last month we started to see some new stuff. We had well Mario 3D World, new old stuff I guess, but and then Monster Hunter Rise obviously as well. I'm definitely curious to see how next month's gonna go with Pokemon Snap and Returnal and Nier and stuff coming out. So we're gonna, I think the next few months is gonna be interesting. We're gonna see some new blood in there, but I think it's awesome to see that 3D World still holding on strong there. Second month on the market, our third month it came out in February, didn't it?
Which one was it again?
Mario 3D World.
Yeah, it came out like around February.
Yeah, okay, so it's 2 months on the market. Wow, never mind. Um, so and then also Outriders. That's awesome. See, like I talked about earlier, um, with them where that game felt like that game was gonna come out and die. It seemed like from everybody,
Mm.
and then they had that demo and like your progress carried over to the main game. And I heard people, podcasters I listen to, friends I talked to, talking shit stuff like that. Like people playing the demo were like raving about this game, and it's come to see out. It's totally did a total 180. Which I'll see because I'm a big fan of people can fly, with Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment. I love what they can do. So that's awesome, and I'm excited to get my hands on it when I get my Xbox Series S here, hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, in Monster Hunter Rise, it's already the second highest selling Monster Hunter game in franchise history behind Monster Hunter
Mm-hmm.
World.
Yep.
So I think it's already like 5 million copies sold. So that's incredible. That's awesome. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, we see like the attach rate for Switch exclusive games is nuts. Um, I imagine especially in Japan as well. So yeah, I think like I said, for the most part, it's chalk. It's what we're used to seeing. We got the big sports games, we got Call of Duty, we got Switch stuff, but it's cool to see we got 2 new games in there, and then Crash Bandicoot 4 jumping back in there. Like you said, I totally forgot that Crash Bandicoot 4 came to um, Switch and also had the next gen upgrade come out as well. So I wonder if that gave a little boost on top of that for in March. But yeah, I mean, pretty cool month. I'm excited to see what the what the future holds. But I mean, also I kind of want to look at here. So like Miles Morales still killing it, number 5. That's awesome.
Yep.
Um, there's something. So I thought it's kind of so. Where is that? The last 12 months. These are the top 10 selling games for the last 12 months. So number 10, Mario Kart 8. Oh, that's something interesting I want to talk about. Mario Kart 8 now is the highest selling racing game in U.S. history. And I think it's
Wow.
around 33 million copies sold. Not the highest selling racing game of all time. I believe the record is Mario Kart Wii, which is around 37 million. So very easily, not very easily, but very well could pass um, the that mark maybe sometime in the next. I could very easily see that game after this holiday pass that number. So it wouldn't be as shocking to see uh, us in early 2022, which is crazy to think 2022, that we could be talking about Mario Kart 8, the highest selling racing game of all time, which is awesome to see that game. And I wonder if that includes. I wonder if that third. Hmm. That can't include the Wii U sales as well, though.
No, I don't think it
So
includes the Wii U
I
sales.
wonder
It's
if you.
actually an individual. individual.
I wonder if that if you combine those two together, it might have outsold Mario Kart Wii at this point. I have
You
to
may
look
have
at
a
that.
point there, considering that a lot of the attach rate for people that owned a Wii U had Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like around 4 or 5. It was the second highest selling title on the Wii U behind Smash Brothers, I believe.
Mm.
So and I think Smash Bros. Was on the 5 million mark. I want to say, give or take. I'm gonna have to look at that. I want to look that up. I want to see, but I'll try to look that up, see if I get numbers on that. And then I'll bring it up back up next week. But last 10 months, top 10 selling games: Mario Kart 8, number 10, number 9, Mario 3D All Stars, number 8, Ghost of Tsushima, hell yeah, number 7, Last of Us Part 2, 6, Animal Crossing, number 5, Miles Morales, number 4, is Valhalla, number 3, Modern Warfare, number 2, Madden NFL 21, number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So interesting about that. So we have one, two, three, three games from Nintendo on this list. Does not include digital sales. So
Wow.
very easily could be looking at, like, Miles Morales is outsold Animal Crossing, but we know Animal Crossing sold over 30 million copies, and I doubt Miles Morales sold that many. So, but it's awesome to see that that uh, we're still seeing Miles Morales kicking ass, and I love that game so fucking much. I can't. I hope you play. Have you bought that game yet? Have you played? Have you picked it up yet?
No, actually, I have not played through Miles Morales. I will eventually.
Okay, yeah, very cool. But that game is fantastic. I know you've been playing. You were playing the Spider-Man DLC, so
Hmm.
um, yeah, that's I don't know. I think that's really cool, and it's been an interesting last 12 months for that, and then also top 10 selling games for this year so far in 2021. Number 10 already Outriders, incredible. Number 9 Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 8 Madden NFL 21. Number 7 Minecraft. Number 6 Mario Kart 8. Number 5 Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 4 Monster Hunter Rise already. Number 3 Miles Morales. Number 2 Mario 3D World. Number 1 Black Ops Cold War. No surprise there, but yeah, it's cool. Like I said, it's cool to see some new blood. See some. It's I always I love. I'm a numbers nerd. I love looking at this shit. I look at. It's one of my. Like I said, it's one of my favorite things every month to look at is these NPDs for gaming. But Gables, it's up for news this week. I haven't played anything new. Uh, par for course, like I said, just waiting for all the new shit coming out here in the next couple weeks. And then, like I said, I got the Xbox One S, so I'll be talking about. I plan on jumping in some MLB The Show and Outriders this week, so
Hmm.
I'll talk about that. I'll be talking about that next week. But Gables, you been playing anything new or anything?
Honestly, I have been playing a little bits here and there. So, like I mentioned before, the beginning portion of this show, where I did go through and invest a full year for PlayStation Now, and I decided to
Oh
check.
shit. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
and I decided to check like the streaming things for PS3 games in particular. I tried it for a couple of games. One, an old PS3 game that I used to play, and obviously I have on PS4 now. It's like Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. I tried out that. I tried out a fighting game, Darkstalkers Resurrection. I also tried out an old game that I've played for years, but I always seem to go back to and play little bits of now and again. That's Sonic Adventure 2. So here's the interesting scale of this stuff. There is still maybe little increments of a slight delay when it comes to button presses for like fighting games. It was more so less evident when I was playing through like Super Street Fighter 2. It's that HD remix, that Super Street Fighter 2 HD remix, which that released around 2008 for the PS3 and also for 360. I remember playing that game a lot back then. I tried playing it, some of it this morning, and with a mixture of the uneven AI difficulty and also of the lack of precise button presses or the time moves right, it felt really awkward and it felt frustrating.
Hmm.
But for a game like, say, Darkstalkers Resurrection, I actually didn't hardly have any type of issues with that game in particular. I mean, sure, there are maybe slight delays and stuff, but it wasn't something that was readily as noticeable as the other fighting game that I had played previously. There are some times when you're streaming PS3 games, especially when you're playing like a game like Uncharted, that there is the occasional screen tear, maybe for like about like a quarter of a second in some parts, especially if you notice it like in cutscenes, where there was a cutscene I was watching between Drake and Sully, and they're in the jungle. Obviously, it's the beginning portion of the game, and you'll see like a little tidbit of like screen tearing going on the top left hand corner or something like that. I also noticed it also with like Sonic Adventure 2 when I was inside the Chow Garden for the first time, going completing level 1. You go to the Chow Garden, you try to upgrade the little creatures that you go through and hatch, and then like on occasion you'll see an occasion like screen tear. But so far, the experience with the streaming through PlayStation Now through my PS5 has been mostly positive. There have been some issues in terms of graphical fidelity and also in terms of input lag, but it's not as readily as bad as what I thought it was going to be. PlayStation 4 Pro, when I tried out PS Now for that month, it was all right. It wasn't like, say, readily writing a home about, but I initially invested into it because I wanted to play old PS3 games that I honestly probably are not going to be able to rebuy because of how fucking expensive they are in the secondhand market or how expensive they are getting. So at least now I have a way if I want to play through Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, 4, I can do that. But other than that, I have been playing more of the Spider Man DLC. As a matter of fact, I went through the first two
Nice.
DLC and I'm 50% through the third one. I went through and I 100%ed the DLC for the heist, also for the turf wars, and I'm 50% through in terms of like the Silver Lining DLC, which involves Silver Sable. So these three DLCs, story wise, obviously separate from the main game. They're like after. They're like takes place after the events of Spider-Man 2018. All three of them are three chapters of one big whole, quintessentially. So it's interweaving storylines between like Black Cat with the mobster, the head of the Magia,
Is it Hammerhead?
Hammerhead,
Yeah.
yeah, Hammerhead and stuff with his escalating things to try to like make him like an evolved form of himself. Then also you have like operatives of like Sable and stuff that are helping out. Silver Sable obviously being the main driving force right there, trying to get resources to her like home country to try to fight this rebellion. Not try to fight, not the rebellion, but try to fight this civil war inside of her country. And so you have all these factors that are adding up and trying to create this sort of larger scale sort of arms race almost between like Hammerhead, what he's doing, and on top of that, trying to help out what Silver Sable's trying to do for her country, trying to save her countrymen and this and that. So the interesting things about this is not so much of the story aspect, which the story things is okay. It's not like exactly like how strong it was in the main campaign to where, hey, you know what, this is actually pretty cool. How the organization of the Sinister Six, presented itself and like how you get to fight these interesting boss battles in regards to just having two at a time or this or that. But no, more or less I'm discovering that a lot of the things inside the DLC in and of itself is more of the same missions that you would have had side missions. Not like complete side missions per se, but it's the same type of grunt work you would have done in the main game. Actually, what this feels like to me throughout this entire DLC was for the people that could not complete going through and getting the top things for the Taskmaster challenges or the base challenges or like even the collectibles or something like that. This was entirely, I feel like, the brunt of all of this DLC was a main focus for players that finished the main game that did not upgrade everything to 100% to get that platinum trophy either they wanted or wanted to complete in order to try to get all the suits, all the power armors, or like all the gadgets upgraded to what they wanted to. But that's what it kind of feels like. It feels like more of a fluff sort of thing where you can go and get either certain base tokens or certain type of challenge tokens or certain types of like collectibles in that regards to photographing stuff, especially for the heist one for like Black Cat and stuff. What I've loved about it is, hey, it's more of the same things that I could easily just pick up and play like easily in the morning or before I go home or before I sleep at night, where it's like I can tackle a couple missions per se, then I could just leave it at that. Or if I want to do a story mission or two, I can do that. It's also a good positive to where these DLCs are not very long in scope or scale. So the quintessentially there may be like a couple of hours, but give or take if you want to go through and complete the DLC missions, which you can do that if you really want to. You don't have to get like the top percentage of like the initial values for these tokens for each individual missions. Like say you don't have to 100% a base, or you don't have to 100% like a certain challenges in order to get like 100% done for say like the trophy list and stuff. But let's see, the not so fun parts that I've encountered throughout this DLC, the extra screwball missions, the challenge modes and stuff. There are some challenge things for the screwball ones which I got kind of readily frustrated with. I made it a point of priority once I got through the screwball missions for the turf war ones that I want just to tackle them immediately when I went to the silver linings, because it's like I got to the point where I realized Screwball, the character in itself, she is more or less like a social media addict that is homicidal, quintessentially, that will do anything for clicks, regardless of who she harms or what she does and this and that. No, it's more or less the annoying fucking banter that she'll have
Yeah.
every time you fail a mission. That grated on me for quite a while, to the fact where once I got all of the base tokens and I upgraded not just base tokens but challenge tokens, and I got every single gadget, every single suit that I could, every single this and that, I didn't want to maximize any of those challenge tokens. I just wanted to tackle them, get what I could, which I just basically did like the equivalent of spectacular, right? I didn't get the maximum. I got the 2 out of the 3, right? And that's enough to trigger the trophy pop for like all of those. But the good part about the silver lining one is you didn't have as many challenges, like challenging challenges inside the silver lining one as you did, say, with Turf Wars. But the only thing I really liked about Screwball's challenges was the gadget ones, the ones where you had to go in with, say, 2 gadgets that you had, and you can double tap in order to switch between. I'll tell you what, it introduced me to a couple things I didn't realize I could do. One, I didn't realize I could just double click the L1 button and switch between 2 gadgets and combine,
Huh.
say, the web bomb with the high impact one. And so you can just pretty much web bomb about 5 different thugs, switch it to the freaking like concussive blast, and they all just stick to the wall. I'm like, why the fuck did I not think of that? And the same thing
Where was this
happened
60
when,
hours ago?
yeah, where was this 60 hours ago? That's exactly my point, exactly. But the other one was the other gadget mission, which I believe was in the Turf War one, or maybe it was in the Silver Lining one. Well, anyway, it is the high suspension and the trip mines. So it's like you do the high suspension to like lift up a bunch of the thugs, and then all of a sudden you just go underneath them and you just see Spider-Man just doing trip mine, trip mine, trip mine, trip mine, and they're all just scooping to the ground and stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my god, dude, this would have been so much easier if they would have explained that I could do this shit. Because you don't think about experimenting with the 2 gadgets, you think about more or less using that one to get out of a specific situation. That's what I encountered while playing through the entirety of Spider Man 2018. But I'll tell you, the other thing that I have not liked about the DLC so far is the armorized sable
Mm-hmm.
soldiers that are the Magia in that regards. They're fucking annoying as hell, especially if you go through the bases of the Silver Lining DLC, because here's the here's the thing that I have come across. They have more armor, meaning they take a lot more things to take down. They have annoying weapon sets to where there will be a span of time where you'll be working on one thug, and all of a sudden you get hit with a fucking rocket from a Magia member from clear across the fucking map. And so there's like 2 to 4 of them, quintessentially in like one wave, that I had to go through and realize. And then all of a sudden you got these flying fuckers that are going all around and stuff and trying to do this, and also the freaking on top of that, try to concentrate on the rocket people, the thugs that are flying in the air, and the freaking people with the damn Doctor Octopus like orange whips that are trying to grab you out of the air. Which that's happened multiple times to where I've had to restart base missions over and over because I kept encountering the same fucking thug that would fly and that would knock me out of the fucking sky because I could not go fast enough. And that's where I had a point last night where I kind of rage quitted it, where it's like, no, I cannot play this right now. And then the very next morning, this morning, I went through and I finished that base.
Nice.
So The only positive I have about that base is there's not five of them, there's three of them. And if I wanted to go through, I can go through at least two more, get at least a spectacular rating, and be done with it. So as it stands right now, I'm over 50% of the Silver Lining DLC. I'm almost done completely with Spider-Man
Nice.
2018. It's been a great experience. The DLC has been mostly filler, but the story elements are interesting to a point where I do like the characters like Black Cat, Hammerhead. You know what? He can jump off a fucking cliff. I don't give a shit. But at the same time, it's like I like the elements of like the Sable, like I like the elements of like Silver Sable and her like faction and stuff, like tying in her gadgets and everything. But yeah, it's been one hell of a ride with Spider-Man 2018, and quite honestly, I'm very glad that I've decided to not only invest inside. I don't know how long I've been playing this game now, but I know it's at least over 60 hours, and I do know that I've enjoyed a lot, if not like 90% of it.
Yeah. Well,
So that's it.
Gables is a friendly reminder.
What?
Next time we talk about that base, remember that's not what it's all about. It's not all about the base.
Gotta have some trouble.
You gotta have trouble. Thank you for playing off that. And that right there, we'll do it because we peaked right there. Uh, thank you so much for listening to us this week. We're on everything. If wherever pods are cast, we're on them. Wherever live things we're on them. Twitch.tv, YouTube, iTunes, Pornhub, RedTube,
No, we are not on Pornhub.
8chan, 4chan, um,
9gag.
Jackie Chan. We're on all of them. Just like, subscribe, follow. Follow Jackie Chan. We're on him. We're
I was
there.
not expecting that.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. Don't tell him I sent you. Tell him that Jake sent you. That's a blast from the past right there for a name. Uh, but anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I was host. I was Tyler. Until next
And
time.
I have been.
I totally fucked it up. I apologize.
Okay. Well, anyway.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Do your thing. I've been
Bada
Tyler.
bing, bada boom. I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, I hope you have yourself a fun time. Definitely play some more interesting video games. But until next time, see you guys.
And Gables. Too sweet. Bye, guys.